And I always laugh because while a sermon in a traditional church will not say those words, they won't say "go home and fuck your husband." They will sit down and say, to deprive one, right, when you're one flesh, to deprive one the other, right, is doing not just a great disservice to them but to you. And they will say, and keeping yourself attractive to your spouse and things like that, that's important as part of that not depriving. They really do actually focus on intersexual dynamics and the reinforcement behind it, and it really helps a lot of people, right? And what does secularists have? Well, they have a psychologist who's a woman every time, right? She's a woman every time. She's usually in her early 20s. She doesn't know shit about shit. And these older married couples are coming in saying, we're having serious problems. We've been married 10 years. He's fat, right? And I'm fat, and we're not attracted to each other anymore. We don't know what to do. And they give you some self-help guru over-psychologizing bullshit that means nothing, all right? And inside the church, the authority and the community is helping you with this, right? They're like, well, hey, Greg, you do a lot of fitness stuff. Do you think you could help Chuck with this? So now Greg's helping Chuck get fit. The women will come around and they'll say, hey, you can cook better food. Here's some great recipes. We'll drop some food off. Suddenly there's that support group. And one of the things that I was always appealing about the red pill manosphere was they were trying to be a support group for men.
Yeah, right.
But it was like, you know what? We already have that, as long as you're religious. But secularists, when they ask me, like, what's the answer for secularists? If you're going to have Satan go ahead and officiate your wedding because you're a secularist, why don't you expect to have bad results? Secular marriage has always been stupid. It's never been good. It's never done much for anybody. And so when those guys are like, well, we're just going to go be degenerates, I'm like, I don't care. But it's for the men who don't, and they want to have successful relationships. It's very clear to me, looking at the data when you parse it out, where you're going to be able to have those successful marriages and with very low rates of divorce. And that's not me being a tradcon. That's me doing the same thing you guys are. Here's the data. Yeah. Now refute the damn data or shut your mouth about it.
So that's what Andrew Wilson was saying in my previous video that I recorded, right? So he's basically an advocate of men marrying women that go to church. He's all about the church wedding and the church. In fact, he even goes to say that secular marriage is just pointless. It's completely pointless, really. Okay. Let's hear what he has to say about church women. Here we go.
The lack of validation. He talks about the wall. Rollo talks about the wall. The lack of validation, kind of, because me as a Christian also, I see this thing happen where a lot of women are like, they're turning to Christianity for absolution for what they did previously, and because they think this is the best way for them to get a good man. You've seen this as well. And what do you think about this? So it's like the social media then perverts the way they see the world. You mentioned, I thought it was a great description, because we talk about the top tier men hooking up with all these women. What he described was the average woman can now compete for top tier men because of social media.
Not just that, but they believe they can.
Yeah.
There's also an essence, I think, that I've learned dealing with, you call them something, right? I have two distinctions for them. One's a femcon, right? The feminist conservatives, which most of them are. And then the second is the sewing circle Christians, how I refer to them. And the sewing circle Christian is exactly the type of woman that we're talking about right now. And some of them are men too, by the way, don't get me wrong. Some of them are men. But with that validation, you know what comes with that for these women is control. They have complete control. They have control over all the Sims. They have control over their life. They have control over their money. And with the lack of validations, that starts to move down. Guess what happens? Their control moves down. Well, where can a lot of these women find a new sense of control? In the church, right? They come into the church and they start henpecking their way through all of the poor bastards who are there, who are trying to be nice and kind and follow the prudence in the Bible. When you're talking about the fruits of the Spirit, they're trying to do everything they can, bend over backwards to assist you in your plights in life. That's what clergy is there for. And they just use it as a weapon to bludgeon everyone to death. It's just, I think that at its root, it's more about control than anything else.
So this is something I haven't heard anybody ask you about this, but it's the concept of, I have the guy who's chaste stays in the church. It's a lot easier for a man if he doesn't try to stay a virgin, right? Because there's not as many people trying to have sex with him. Let's just say he's 24, 25. He remains a virgin. He stays in the church. And now you have a woman who's either a former sex worker, maybe she's on OnlyFans, or maybe she's just a girl who's been rewarded by her friend group.
She's now a predator.
Yeah. She's now, that's exactly my point. She's now rewarded by her friend group for her promiscuous lifestyle. And then she comes back into the church, and now she's so much more technologically sophisticated than this guy who's in the same position, but he's in the same position because he chose to not get that experience. You see how there's it's almost like the colonists taking over the Native Americans.
I mean, you get it. Like, you understand exactly what's going on. And the thing here let me tell you about a secret war that you may not know about, though. There is a secret war going on in what we would call the base churches. So these are the traditional church. It'd be Orthodox, it would be Roman Catholic, and high church Protestants. So these are people who are very rigorous, right, in their faith. Like they're not going to. If it's a feast day, they're going to adhere to it. If it's not a feast day, they're going to adhere to it. They're going to engage in the sacraments, right? They're going to sit in family prayer. Them and their wife are really going to focus on these things. And what has happened is those churches are not immune to this, right? But because so many young men, right, who've been disillusioned are moving towards the church, right? There's now a war with the older patriarchs of these various churches and the kind of people who are coming in, the younger men, who are saying, listen.
20 years ago, I was making about 15, 17 bucks an hour, right? And I was doing like mediocre jobs and stuff like that, right? And some of you guys still are. And guys, I know for a lot of you guys, it could lead to your marriage like dissolving because you don't have the financial wherewithal to provide for your family. Been there, done that, right? So it is what it is, right? But luckily for me, I took a course, I want to say about 15 years ago, and it changed my life, right? Because of that, I'm able to live here, right? Outside of the United States, I'm making United States dollars, and I'm living outside the United States, so, you know, that money's going to flow a lot further. So, guys, the name of our website is clouduniversity.com. Take a look at it. And what you want to do is you want to click on the link below, and you want to go to the AWS course and the Oracle DBA course. That's where you want to go, right? This changed my life. We can teach you how to make between 80 to 100 and between 100 and $120 an hour, give or take, right? Within about 3 months, right? All you got to do is just be dedicated and be focused, right? So if that appeals to you, like, click on the link below, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
So, all right, fellas. So, a lot of you guys have asked me how I'm able to live on the beach and work remotely and get and make your salaries. It's real simple. Go to clouduniversity.com. This is a site, right? Clouduniversity.com. And then what you want to do is you want to click on this guy, the Ultimate 200K AWS Oracle course, right? And in this course, you guys can see the price there. And in this course, you guys can see all the things that we're going to teach you guys. All right, it's a bunch. It's so much work. It's a lot of videos, a lot of lecture series. You can see this, and there's also courses on this side, right? So we teach you 12C Data Guard, 12C Golden Gate. You got to know these things, even if you just know this basic class. This right here will make you, I don't know, $100,000 easy. That's $50 an hour. Actually, $104,000 a year. Right, once you start adding Iraq, you start adding Data Guard, now you're moving to 120. When you add Golden Gate, now you're 150K per year. Easy, right? The other courses that will teach you backup and all that good stuff, but you do have to take the time to learn it. But all this can be achieved in 3 months. It happened for me, and it can happen for you. Take the course, register, just go to clouduniversity.com, right? You guys know me already. I've been on YouTube teaching for years. All these have been subject matters, right? So you guys know me. I don't need to belabor that point. But go ahead and go to clouduniversity.com, and you want to click on the AWS course, right? And then you want to register. And then what we do is we'll ship out your laptop and everything, and then you go from there. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.
You don't really understand socially what's happening in the world. And because of that, you don't really know how predatory a lot of these women are who are coming in. But some of them do get it, right? Some of the older patriarchs do get it, and the priests get it now, and they're starting to. Wait a second. Are you coming in here because you're repentant and you're looking for forgiveness from Jesus Christ, and you're engaging in the sacraments not for status but out of humility, right? Or is it that you're here because you can throw your weight around and be hyper predatory and think that you're owed something? And you'll hear, and it's very insidious and devious how they'll do it. The Lord has forgiven and purified me. Who are you to tell me that I can't have one of these great men? Yeah. Right? I have been cleansed by the Holy Spirit. All right? And because of that, I am born again into a life, a good Christian life. And with humility, I'll look. And that's not what's going on at all. Yeah. What's going on?
Which one is it? Which one is it? Do you want men to get married to women in church, or don't you want women, or you don't? Which one is it? In the video I did before, he's emphatic about marrying a woman from church. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But here he's saying that the women in church are no good. So which one is it? Which one is it? I need to know. Because just like what CJ said to Andrew Wilson, you're pushing men into a burning building. These women in church and we think are so great, they're not. They're women first with histories. They may give themselves to God and God may forgive them, sure. But that doesn't mean that they are not broken women, and broken women hurt people. They just do. There's broken men too. They hurt people too. They hurt women too. No, this is not one sided. But this typically happens with the woman because, like I said, men get real comfortable in marriage. They don't cheat. Most men just don't cheat. They can't cheat because most women ain't checking for them. But the average woman, dozens of men is checking for them. That's the difference. So just because a woman goes to church does not mean that this is a good woman. Does not mean that her heart is really into you. What she has right now in her 30s is called rabies babies. She's had a friend in her 20s. Now she's looking for a nice guy to procreate with, not because she's attracted to you, but because he's a nice guy who will provide for her. And then you know what she's going to do next? Well, the Bible says a man must provide for the woman. So guess what? She wants you not only to provide for her, but also she wants to take a break. She wants to take a 10-year break so she can just slave you out. You do all the work and you bring home the money. This is what they do. But Andrew Wilson's going to have to explain himself, man, because now I'm confused. You want men to marry women in church or don't you? Are you guys just as confused as I am? Because I am now. I'm not confused, but a lot of you guys are. On one hand, he says it. On another hand, look at what he's saying. The women in church, he actually used the word predators. It's a good man who want to do right. This is not very encouraging to men. This is not very encouraging at all because now you just completely confused men. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.